The content on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Please contact a professional when it comes to your financial needs. Consistency every week. We're back on our savings goals, putting a little bit more on our savings account, buying another share of stock, whatever stock you're choosing, and we're watching our money grow. As we review this week that was in crypto, let's get into it right here, right now on the Ujamaa Network. Let's go. I'm a Gen Xer. Because of that, I am very spoiled when it comes to saving. I come from an era where we were getting 15% interest on our checking account and savings accounts. We could put money in the bank for a year and it grew. And that's just what it is. What I do not like about these trying times, and what anybody under the age of 35 um, is currently realizing, you can't save your way into generational wealth. You've got to work and your money's got to work. I'm going to show you just what I'm talking about. In the past 2 months since we started our savings challenge, the interest in the traditional savings account has totaled a whopping 4 cents. That's 2 months of saving interest is 4 cents. Now, fortunately for me, I have not incurred any fees at this bank, which is another rare thing. I chose this bank because it was no fees on my deposits, just no annual fees. That's what we want to go for. In a realistic sense, no matter how much money you put aside, earning 2 cents in 2 months will give you a whopping dime at the end of the year. That's not going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. Now, let's compare that or contrast that to a share of stock. Now, these shares that I'm buying are about $40 a share. So I'm putting aside $40. That $40 is still $40 as the price of that stock fluctuates. It may go up to 44 again. It's back down to 39 bucks. However, you're getting dividend payments. And what I've set up in my uh, Robinhood account is to have those dividend payments reinvest into my stock. So as you can see, I got about $2 in that same point of time, that same time frame. While I'm depositing money into a savings account, a traditional savings account, I'm also buying shares of stock. $2, that's about 200% or 200 times more cash earned just for moving my money around. This is how you start making these gains. And these are not risk um, investments. This is just you taking what little money you have, buying things that are appreciating value, gaining more value, and just letting it go. The more you put in, the bigger the dividends. So the bigger the investment. Once you get to a point where you have hundreds of shares of stock or thousands of shares of stock, if you get to that point, you literally can live off of your stock investment. So if you had 100,000 shares of this particular stock and it's paying 6%, well, that's a lot of money. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's a rudimentary AI embedded in Google search engines now. So let's go ahead and use it. And let's ask the simple question: how many shares of stock could I buy with, I don't know, whatever amount of money? Let's say $1,000. Could I buy with $1,000? Let's take that off. Well, Assuming a stock price of about $90 per share. It's not, it's only $40. Let's go ahead. How many shares of stock could I buy with $1,000 for a stock price of $40? You could buy exactly 25 shares. Great. 25 shares of Verizon stock. And how much did those 25 shares of Verizon stock pay dividends? How much in dividends could be earned with 25 shares of Verizon stock? Now, you can substitute that with any stock that you're uh, thinking about owning. We already know that Verizon is paying about 69 cents per share. The annual dividend payment is currently $2.76 per share. You'll get about 69 bucks a year with those 29 or 25 shares of Verizon stock that cost you $1,000. So you're making $69 a year for every $1,000 you put into Verizon stock. Now, is that a great amount of money? No. But if you're reinvesting it, you're growing your investment. So over time, as you start to do better, your dividends and your shares are going to start reflecting that. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of building generational wealth. This is not get rich quick and right now wealth. This is building wealth over time. You start something, your descendants continue it and continue to reap the benefits. So at some point in time, whether it's through stock or through some wise investments, you no longer have to be dependent on working for your money. Just think about it. There are, in this particular case, about 4 billion shares of Verizon stock. Could you possibly conceptually own 50, 60,000 shares of stock? Yeah, well, $1 million maybe. But at this point, I think the numbers work out to be around, oh, 6,000 shares for every $250,000. um, that's only going to pay you like $1,300 or so. But honestly, you're growing your investments, and this is just one avenue versus putting $250,000 worth of cash in a bank account that's not doing nearly what the stock market is doing. This is how people can afford not to work. And one of the things that we have found out in this current climate of layoffs and government shutdowns, you've got to have something going for yourself that's generating income, at least some type of subsidy for yourself. I think this is one of the reasons one political party in our two-party political system are so hot and heavy of dismantling Social Security and trying to put your hard-earned money into a stock market portfolio. You know, good intentions aside, what that usually sets up is a massive fleece. Somebody's trying to get at your funds, and this is why it's such a bad idea to take government funds and put into the stock market where the game is literally rigged. There is no possible outcome that I could see with public funds being put and invested into stock where all one would have to do if you are in that inside gang is sell your shares of stock and do exactly what we're trying to do right now, which is buy other stock to live off of. Understand, this game is as old as time itself. And you have to get educated on how this thing works so that you're not dependent and beholden to the whims of political circumstance. Let me know what you think at the end of this video in the descriptions, and I will talk to you later.